Welcome to Latino Talk TV. I'm your host, Ben Mendez, joined by my co-host, Mr. Javier Perez and Mr. Jesse Rodriguez.
Jumpin' Jess.
I will tell you that we have two very special guests in the house, not to mention Jumpin' Jess, but we have Elaine Gracia. She's a political coordinator, and we have our newly elected school board member, Diana Davila. Now, thank you all for coming to the show.
Thank you for having us.
And congratulations.
Diana, congratulations.
Thank you. I can breathe now.
Now I know, I read somewhere in the paper that it's been a long time since an incumbent at HISD was taken out of office. Correct me if I'm wrong, was it like 20 years or so?
It was 18 years ago, but yes, if you round it off, it would be 20 years, and that's what everybody's talking about. It's been 20 years, and so the most interesting thing about it is that it's never been done when the person that was had that seat before comes back and pretty much, I say, takes it back. So that's the first time that's ever happened.
And for clarification purposes, you weren't taken off, you resigned, right?
I resigned. And for clarification points, since you point that out, I did resign, and the reason I resigned, and I think it was pretty clear for most people that were very involved in my campaign and followed me, was because my daddy was diagnosed with cancer. And so I left a year early to go home and take care of Dad.
And eventually raise your family, of course.
I did. So it's been, and I spent some more time with my family, and, I figured my dad's had 5 years of cancer-free, so I figured this was a good opportunity for me to come back in. I didn't want to leave, but of course my parents are a priority. My family always are.
Great.
Diana, I think it's such a testament to your reputation and your stature in the community, because really Juliet, that I know of, didn't really do anything wrong. She was just beat by a stronger candidate, and I tell you, my hat's off to you, Diana. I think there's some great things in the works for HISD, and
I second that. Juliet was well liked in the community. It was really a matter of who was going to work harder on the campaign, who was going to knock on those doors. As you know, takes knocking on doors, greeting people, and finding out where the events are, and that's where our coordinator comes in. And I know you did a great job because you had multiple hats, a lot of things going on at the same time. So tell us a little bit about your experience.
Well, before you start, wear the glasses today. I thought
You
said she's wearing glasses and looking very intelligent. With all the know-how.
Well, because you two were wearing glasses, I just didn't want to compete with that. So.
And
Great
also
comeback.
one thing you have to mention, Ben, is that they are both NHPO graduates of the Leadership Institute.
That's right.
Correct.
We are same
Class.
class.
That's right.
That's one
right.
thing.
Which I think is a testament to the leadership.
That's great also. But I will tell you that, having her by Diana's side was a great testament because she took on a leadership role on a campaign. And it's one thing to volunteer as an NHPO-LI graduate, but it's another thing to take charge. And I'm very happy you did so. And tell us a little bit about your learning experience.
Well, working for the Davilas, was able.
Volunteering. She volunteered.
It wasn't like work in a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
It was coordinated, but I really enjoyed learning so much, especially from both of them, Abel and Diana, being married and having to juggle the family along with their campaigns. And Abel also has a commitment to the county as well. So everyone works so hard, and learning that work ethic. I thought I had a really good one, but they blew me away with that. So lots of knowledge, lots of understanding in the community, what the community wants. And so we learned a lot. I learned a lot. Everyone that worked along with me, for them, or with them, learned a lot. So I
And what was the toughest thing during the campain?
Well, of course, it's the negativity. I mean, that's always going to be the toughest
That
thing.
was very new to Elaine. I'm like, that's politics, Elaine. No. She bit her tongue several times on several things.
Right, and that, I think, is the hard part. I mean, there's so few Latins and so few Hispanics in politics that are doing well, that are in a place that could succeed. And it's so sad to see someone else that's also mutually well-known or mutually has done just as much, and you have to go against them. And I think that's what makes it hard. And then you see the divisions. You definitely see the divisions, and even within the communities, that 80-20 thing really does happen. You have 20% of the people working. 80% of the other 80% are just sitting there watching the other 20% working. So such a small group of people working their hearts out, and then they have to go at each other. And that, I think, is the hardest part, that we cannot come to a place where we can really organize this in a way where we could support each other no matter where we go, so that more of us can be in these positions. And I think that is what attracted me the most to.
One thing I got to mention, what you mentioned, I think, Deanna, was the negative campaign and the dirty politics. I mean, even in our yard, we had signs taken 3 times. We replaced them 3 times. And then I saw
For this race or a different race?
For this race.
For this race.
Overall.
Okay.
We had everybody's signs up, and then, we had like 6 candidates, and there's sweeps and coming in, and there's some people talking about a green van going around, and then there's, as you saw, with Herlinda, they're drawing mustaches on her. And then on other ones, they're putting crosses on them, rolling signs, they're cutting them up, So I mean, it was a lot of dirty politics going on out there in the community, and then people taking signs,
Well, I don't consider that dirty politics. That's more like the childish side of politics. I mean, and it's, come on, let's face it, we want to win. Everybody wants to win. And so you get out and you do the most that you can. And I think people do become a little bit overzealous, but
passionate about their candidate, I think, is the thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing, because I could swear on a Bible right now, a stack of them, that we never, ever, ever once went out and said, let's pull signs, nor did we even want to. I mean, the idea of even being caught touching another sign would have been too much for us. But I think people who follow you go out and have, that's my candidate and no one else is going to win, and they get really passionate.
Yep, I think some people debated my views a lot better than I did sometimes. Mm-hmm. I would have been more like, it's just tone it down a bit. And there are some people out there that's like, no, they're wrong, and they're wrong because of this, this, and this, and this. I said, yes, but tone it down just a bit. They were more passionate than I was. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you're right. That always happens. It happened before when we ran so that's just politics all around, whether you're running for mayor, city council, or school board. I mean, that's it, or even president. People become very passionate for their candidate, which is a good thing.
Let me ask you, and I know you went in, of course, with all the confidence in the world. Were you surprised that you won?
No. Weren't? I was not surprised, because I have a very strict work ethic. And once I knew I was committed to doing this, that means I was going to give it 110%. And so I knew it was going to take time for me to go out there and do the block walking, time for to be able to do the phone banking, time to go to these meetings, attend all these other events in between there. So I thought, anyone that runs against me, or anyone that thought about that, is going to have to outwork me. And so we were block walking sometimes 3 days out of the week. Mm-hmm. And so I thought, catch me if you can,
Diana, and I remember I was sitting across from her when the results were coming in, and I overheard, okay, I think I got 55% of the vote, and I'm like, I was like in shock, because I love Diana, but this doesn't happen very often. Mm-hmm. And she was so matter-of-factly and just like, okay, yeah.
I think I won.
Yeah. No, it's just like, well, we need to wait to the very last vote.
There was no surprise to her, And I was like, you're kidding. He said, Juliet, you beat Juliet. And I said, man, what did Juliet do? Did she do something wrong that I didn't think? But it was just the strength of your own candidacy. And I tell you, my hat's off to you. My hat's off to you. You're a great lady. You're going to do a great job for the community.
Kudos to her, but I will say that I was very disappointed in the Hispanic turnout.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Always.
I think that our percentages, now I don't know the exact numbers, but I can tell you on early vote, we were at 12.5%.
It was up. Very low. Up from the last.
The African American community had about 30%. Mm-hmm. I mean, those are some big numbers compared to the Latino numbers, and it's just overall disappointing. Why our community doesn't go out and vote, I have no idea. If anybody could magically put that in a bottle and figure it out and sell it, they'd be rich to figure out how we can get our community out there. Now, you've seen it firsthand, block walking. Now, what did you see as far as voter participation?
Unfortunately, the results are going to get even worse. I mean, not only did I see it block walking, but when you're sitting there looking at where all the votes are coming from, precinct by precinct, in different areas of the city of Houston, we are losing our voting power. I tell people District H is lost. It used to be a Hispanic seat. It will never be a Hispanic seat again, not the way the district is made up. When you look at the way the district is made up, there are more Anglo voters in that district than there is minority voters. The votes that were there in Northside and Denver Harbor are just not there anymore. 3 precincts in Denver Harbor come close to 1 precinct in the Heights. Close. It doesn't get to it yet. And then I said, that was a shock for me. When you look at the school board seat out there, that's even worse. I'm like, we lost that school board seat too. And so we are the majority of the student population in HISD. And yet, at this point, we probably only have 2 representatives there for HISD. And today, we only have 1 city council member that is the Hispanic representative. And I just don't see District H coming back to a Hispanic. Or
You mean as of January 1st?
Correct.
Ed Gonzalez is still our
Correct.
representative.
As of January 1st, we won't, I've seen the numbers, and the numbers are very scary with all these people moving back into the city and the gentrification going on within our communities. It's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. So we've got a long road ahead of us. And if we want to maintain some kind of input here in the city of Houston, because we are the majority, we have got to be coming out in full force and voting. Those of us that can vote are not coming out to vote. We visit households, that say, well, I haven't voted in 4 or 5 years. Why should I come out and vote for you? I haven't voted in 20 years, this one lady said. She said, I'm just so discouraged. When people come out here and knock on my door and then they promise me this or they say this and they don't come back. She says, so I'm discouraged, and I think many of us are discouraged. And that just and because when you look at the number of registered voters versus the actual voters, it's disappointing. It's very disappointing.
I think Adrian lost, and when I saw the numbers for Harris County, it was in the early voting, the absentee voting, early voting, because on the day of the election, he was right there second behind Sylvester Turner on the turnout. But if you look at the absentee and early voting, there was 10,000 votes came in for Sylvester, 10,000 for Bill King. Adrian had like 3,000. So, that's where I think he really lost it, was in the early voting, absentee voting. And there's specialist people that specialize in getting that vote out. And I think that's where we really lost it.
You know what? And Ben, you made that observation to me before the election. They said if he loses, Ben said he lost in the absentee. You told me that, and I tell you, that's you were exactly right.
Well, I will tell you that there was a huge Republican output voters. Big time. I mean, they came out in droves. If you look at the West Side numbers, and again, I've only seen the early vote numbers. I haven't seen election day. But West Side numbers, I mean, they came out strong. And they didn't come out for other candidates other than Mr. King, right? Because he won those boxes landslide.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. He won Clear Lake and he won Kingwood. And that's all he needed, those 3. He didn't have to worry about inner city.
That's right.
Didn't even have to campaign there, because those are some big numbers out there. They know how to vote.
Right.
It's ingrained up here to go vote.
Well, they had a mission and they had a purpose, and they went out there and wanted to make sure that everybody knew they're the sleeping giants. Actually, if you look at this, they say the Latino community is a sleeping giant. No, they were. And so I think the cities had a rude awakening.
Well, they weren't asleep.
No, but they voted in higher numbers than ever before. That voting block was not there before. So this time around, they surprised everybody.
Right.
Because usually West Gray has the highest voting numbers for early vote. And this time, that was not the case. I mean, they were blowing us out the water. And I was at West Gray campaigning for myself. Yeah. But yeah, the volumes in these outskirt communities just...
And that just goes to show what you were talking about. When you're inspired to something, when something is driving you to make a change, then you're going to have this influx of new people that you wouldn't have counted on before. And I think that's one of the things that we've been missing as Hispanics for a long time, is not having leadership that will inspire. And I think that's really important about, NHPO is, there's all of us are NHPO here, and the Leadership Institute is aspiring for that, and we need to start focusing a little bit more on that. What is it that's going to inspire our race? Who's going to inspire the Latinos, the Hispanics? Who's going to get out there and really make them feel some passion? Because we don't have any passion right now. The only passion we've got is to put food on the table, which is important.
You bring up a good point. We don't have a leader in the Hispanic community.
We do
There's
not.
not one person that can say, I am the leader in Houston, Texas.
We do not.
Yeah. We are so splintered, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it goes from the top down. I mean, we're splintered every which way. You look at every board, I mean, you can go to city council, you can go to Harris County, you can go wherever you want. we're just so splintered. HISD was a perfect example of this. Juliet Stepeche and Manuel Rodriguez could not work together. Two Latinos, only Latinos on the HISD board, and they could not work together. Unfortunately, I will say that I'm very happy that Diana and Manuel Rodriguez have a great working relationship.
do.
And together, they will make things happen.
Right. And that's why I'm certainly committed in helping Manny as well. So that's a personal statement, by the way. Even my disclaimer out there. But I think that that's important. We've got to start putting ourselves behind people that will make that happen. And they do need to work together. And I think that's what I love so much about the Davilas and Art Aguilar, and is that I know that they're family, and that kind of gives them, that gives them a little bit more of a motivation to work together, but then not even, because they're still brothers and sisters and family, and
so that bickering.
it makes it a little bit more difficult even. But if a family can do that and come together because the community matters to them, we should be able to do that together as well, right? We just need to be able to find that passion, where's the inspiration, what really is important for us. And when we were block walking, and I'd tell you that 75% of the people just didn't even know how to register to vote. They didn't know how to get out and where do I go vote? I don't even know if I'm eligible. So much of that. That's why we went ahead and did the event that we did to try to teach people about voter registration at Moody Park. It's because so many didn't know. It came from that, not hearing. I just wanted to find one person. Are you registered to vote? Yes. Oh, wonderful. You're going to vote? Yes. No, we didn't get that. Yeah. It was more, we spent a lot of time educating people out there when we were block walking. And we need to probably do a little bit more of that. Even if it means we're giving away hot dogs to get people out to do it. We've got to find, what is it? What's our why? What's your why? What is it that makes you move? Why are you going to get up out of your house?
What's going to inspire you?
Exactly. Who's going to get up in the rain at 7 o'clock in the morning and go vote? And why?
Yeah. I tell you, since I was always very civic minded, and I think since the day I turned 18, I think I missed a bond election once, and I felt terrible. So I'm 56 years old. So for 30 some odd years I've been voting, and I think I missed one election.
So you're still Tea Party all the way?
I'll throw my shoe at somebody.
ST all the way, baby.
I got to tell you what. One time Ben came into our class and invited in to speak, and he was talking about the Tea Party. He says the Tea Party is nothing but another name for the KKK.
It's the KKK. Exactly. I will tell you also that I was impressed with some of the other races going on. I don't know if you all had a chance. Tony Diaz came within 5 votes.
God, that's
5 or 6 votes.
6.
6 votes of winning a board seat in Aldine.
Now,
ISD.
aren't they recounting? Are they recounting?
They're waiting on some votes. The veterans.
Yeah.
Yes.
They have, I think, 6 days to wait for the veterans that vote overseas to send in their mail ballots. So hopefully,
this is not the last we've heard of this.
No.
Which is great.
Yeah. So hopefully, Tony doesn't give up if he does lose this. I think he has a great opportunity to win in Aldine. Nobody gave him any credit. You didn't see any big money flowing his way. They didn't think he would have a chance exactly, and yet he was 6 votes away.
Yeah. Now let me on another front, Ben. So of the total electorate in this past election, I heard that 80% was over 50 years old. Is that correct?
57%. I'm going back to early vote. I don't know about the election day.
Okay.
57% of the voters were over 65.
So that's probably right then. They said 80% were over 50. So that's probably right. Man, that's
It's pretty normal. It's pretty standard.
Yeah.
In almost every election, whether it's city or county, it's shocking. But I remember a while back when I was also campaigning or assisting somebody for campaign, and they're like, here's your list, go knock on those doors. And I went knocking on the doors, and every single door I knocked on was a senior.
Yeah.
Like this is the trend. These are the people that loyally vote, seniors.
Isn't that incredible?
Is what I was getting to open the door.
It also makes you realize the incredible potential there. If we can get these young people motivated to vote.
Let me give you another statistic that I went to a presentation that Dr. Jose Angel Gutierrez gave at the Houston Community College and at the University of Houston on the political power of Hispanics. And he says that every month, 50,000 Hispanics turn 18.
Yes.
And so, but nobody's reaching out to them. Nobody's registering to vote. Nobody's taking the lead and trying to get these guys out to vote. But that's in the state of Texas. 50,000 Hispanics turn 18 every month.
And yet they don't vote.
They don't vote.
That's a shame. You know what? You need to get those seniors in high school to register to vote.
I'm already working on that, because one of the things that I think was very instrumental is that I actually engaged seniors to come out and block walk, and they put the sweat equity into it. And now I go back and I tell them, I said, all right, we won. I said, I'm having a fundraiser. I want you to be there for that. I'm having my swearing-in ceremony. I want y'all to be there for that. I'm going to have board meetings. I want y'all to be there for that. I'm going to walk campuses. I want y'all to be there for that. I don't want y'all to just be there in the block walking in the heat. I want you to come and see what this is all about, and encourage you all to run for these seats and to become involved and get involved. And so, yes, that's my next step, is keeping the young group that was helping me, 17, 20 of these high school kids that are senior, keeping them engaged and keeping them involved. And at the same time, getting them out of their elements. I mean, for a lot of them, this will be the first fundraiser they go to, out in the River Oaks area. And for a lot of them, this will be the first time they go to a swearing-in ceremony, something a little more formal. So, we need to expose our young people to that. They need to see it, and they need to know that they have value all around. Like, they just don't need me for this, to block walk. I need you throughout the whole entire process, and the city of Houston needs you to get involved. And we need to mentor these young students, to get involved. And I don't care if they live in my district. If they think I'm doing something wrong and they want to run against me, I welcome them to do that. I tell people, I love people to rattle my cage. I said, I'm not afraid to mentor people to come in and learn the system of HISD, because we need to start doing that, and we need to start doing that without fear of that person that I mentored 3 years ago is not going to run against me. I said, because if I'm doing the right thing, there should be no fear.
That reminds me, there is going to be an election in March, okay? Mm-hmm. And it's never too late to register to vote. You talked about the kids that are out there watching us. I mean, we have elections in March. We have an election in November of 2016, and actually in the run-ups too.
Yeah.
We have April and December. So there's a great opportunity, and if you would like to volunteer, we encourage you to contact any campaign. I don't care who you vote for and who you run with and who you campaign for. The important thing is to get engaged. So any last words that you want to talk about?
So I'd really like to see everyone get involved, like you just said. Definitely going to register the vote. I think NHPO is also going to engage in that for the next year as well. We're really going to take that as a civic engagement committee. So if you want to volunteer for that as well, please, we need you.
Because Class 13 graduate Melissa Young will track you down.
She will. She's a deputy. She's deputized. She's encouraging a lot of people to get deputized.
She is very intense, very passionate about getting the Latinos to vote. So yes, absolutely. So that's a plug for Melissa Young.
Yes, thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate the time. And of course, we just mentioned that Deanna is going to have a fundraiser, and please check her out on Facebook. You can definitely find us. So.
What's the deadline for stopping fundraisers for you? When do you have to stop campaigning fundraising?
I was going to say, you never stop campaigning, nor you ever stop fundraising.
Well, I'm talking about, there's a deadline, isn't there? No? Okay.
No, there isn't.
I thought there was a certain time period that you had to stop raising.
What did you report?
I mean, there's blackout dates when it has to do with vendors that are submitting for proposals to do business with HISD. There are blackout dates.
No conflicts of interest, basically.
Yes. But other than that, you fundraise all year long. So, I mean, that's one of the things that's coming up now. It's like, I was very blessed. I'm not going to say fortunate. I've been blessed to be able to have financed all my campaign. But how many people can actually do that?
I would love, and I mean, I would love to see a ropes course at Austin High School.
Okay, we had this discussion yesterday. So there goes the plug for that, right?
The ropes course that they have at the Tejano Center?
Yeah.
There's no reason why HISD shouldn't have a ropes course in the East End.
Absolutely.
None whatsoever. There's only one school that I am aware of that has a ropes course.
Well, besides law enforcement.
Which school is it?
Law enforcement.
Okay, yeah.
Law enforcement.
That's the only school in HISD that has a ropes course.
So.
And they're moving in 2 years, so they're not going to have.
But they're moving to the East End.
Well, hopefully they bring the ropes course with them. But I would like to see it at Austin High School.
That's the tricky thing.
And also talking about Austin High School, I heard they won this past weekend. They beat Davis.
Oh yeah, Austin High School won. I guess they won 3 games this season.
Possibly.
Yeah, 3.
We have so much work to do.
Yeah.
But that's
much
good.
work.
That's 3 more than they won last year. They have 300%,
They were
300%
0-10
improvement.
last year. 0-10. The freshmen this year only lost 1 game.
Oh,
You got to build
wow.
them from the bottom up.
So they're on the right track. Coach Robin is doing great things over there.
Yeah,
at
they
Austin
didn't
High
have a freshman team. They didn't have a JV team. Now they do. So they're developing their players. Coach Kirk is doing a great job. Yeah.
Good.
Before you all leave, I wanted to turn over here to Jumpin' Jess. Jumpin' Jess had a cousin that passed away today.
Very well-known lady.
Very well known. Yolanda Navarro Flores.
Black.
Black.
Yolanda Navarro Black. I get them confused sometimes.
There's an attorney by that
Yeah,
name.
Yolanda Navarro Black. Now, I will tell you that it was shocking to hear that she passed away. And she was battling leukemia.
Right.
Yeah, and obviously today was her last day. And so any last words on Yolanda?
Just want to mention that she was a great lady. She's a great servant leader. She was, there's so much about her that I don't know, but the things I can tell you, I know that I found out that she was on the founding board for AMA. She's also on the founding board for TBH. She's also the Navigation Area Business Association. She was one of the founding members. And then she started a program called Shoes for Kids. And last year, I've been a part of it the last 7 years, and she gave out 2,200 pairs of shoes to kids in the East End. And so she's great at raising money. She's also was one of the ones that was, always fighting the East End Management District when they were doing things to that they weren't telling anybody. They were not communicating to the community what they wanted to do. She was saying some of their bus stops look like from alien stations, that they don't relate to the community. Then when they were doing Guadalupe Plaza, they never let the community know they were going to redesign it. There was Javier and I noticed on their books that the East End Management was going to get rid of TBH, knock it off the map. It was in writing. Yeah. Javier has it. He still has a copy. These are their plans. And so she said, I'll put myself in front of there and lay in front of TBH before they knock that place down. She was always fighting for the better cause.
And a lot of things she's done, Jess, they're going to continue. Her Shoes for Kids, I know that'll be something that keeps going. She's left behind a great legacy.
She ran for city council too.
Right, and she lost to Denise Parker. Then she was also on the board of the Hispanic Advisory Committee for the mayor.
And she was also on the board to help bring the Felix Fraga campus for HEC.
And she also was on the Metro board. She's also on the Houston Parks board.
You can just go on and on.
There's things.
Her accomplishments.
The accomplishments that she did, and I'd asked her again. If somebody asked her, "Do you plan to run for office again?" She said, "No, I like the position of being more of a power broker. Be in the background, making decisions. Then I can get on those people that are in position and make things happen. Have more power, more stroke when I can tell the elected officials what they need to do. I get more things done that way."
Oh, she did it so well.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for coming on the show. This is not your first time, and I'm sure it won't be your last time. But we want to hear about all the good things you've done in a year from now, especially at Austin High School with the ropes course.
Put you on the spot. Oh, my goodness.
No pressure. We can't bring that one. We'll just fundraise for another one.
And Elaine, I've only known you shortly, probably, I guess, a little over a year. And I tell you, I am so impressed in how far you've come, I guess. And I don't know if that's really an accurate statement, but you've really impressed me. You're a mover and a shaker, and you did
That's
some
right.
great things.
And she's not just a talker. She
Yeah.
is a walker. Literally.
That's exactly what I told you today.
So,
You did say that. Thank
so
you.
you're part of the new Walking Dead. Because I know you walked and walked and walked and walked, and believe me, Elaine, you're a great role model for some of these younger professionals just coming up. You did some great things, and with your intensity and your integrity and your drive, you showed what the Latina is that's motivated can do.
Thank you so
And,
much. I have some great role models,
yeah.
so I appreciate that.
And we need more women involved as political consultants. So
Oh,
have
absolutely.
a career
Yeah.
path.
But you know what? If you look at the Leadership Institute, 70% women?
Probably.
Guys? You get on the stick, baby.
You know,
These women are leaving us far behind.
and talking back to the Leadership Institute, I always like to repeat this. And you know, I was in the same class as Bolivar Fraga, which is class 5, and then he decided to run for city council. And he says that if it wasn't for the Leadership Institute, he would have never decided to run for office. And so, you know, I just tell everybody, if you want to become a leader, if you want to get involved in your community, you need to get into the Leadership Institute. I know it was founded by Ben and it's run by Javier and Pat, but you know, the great things they're doing. There's not a better institute.
Javier don't run anything. Pat runs it all.
A woman. Come on now.
But
all right.
you know, I just got to sell the program because we need
It's
more
a great program.
candidates. And I guess like if Elaine hadn't been involved, she wouldn't have met Deanna. She wouldn't have got involved. So, you know, these are the great things that happen here at the Leadership Institute.
You know, another plug for the LI, Ben, is that Deanna is our second elected official come out of our program.
Yeah, well, the good thing is that Diana already had roots. That really helped her. I mean, people knew her name ID, and of course, she's a workaholic.
No. I had
And
to
all of that, Elaine and everybody that all come
That's
together.
right. We created a team.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you know, from the very beginning, when you signed up for the class, you and Abel, everybody said, well, why do y'all need, but y'all are leaders already. Why come and get involved in this and enroll in this class? And you know, the great words I heard, hey, we can always learn more. We can re-engage ourselves in the community. And, you know, I mean, that was very humbling what y'all did, but I think it definitely paid off. Y'all made a new family.
We did. Exactly.
Yeah.
On that note, we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about immigration rights. So we'll be back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Latino Talk TV. I'm your host, Ben Mendez, joined by our co-hosts, Javier Perez and Jesse Rodriguez. Now we're going to switch gears a little bit, and we're going to talk about immigration rights. And we have a couple guests. I have to put on my shades, my cheaters. And we have Martina Grifaldo, and she's with the Alianza Mexicana. And we have Omar Ociel Hernández Garcia, and he's with Proyecto México Migrante. Gracias por venir.
Gracias.
Gracias por invitarnos.
And by the way, we're going to do this in Spanish and English. Now, I will tell you that I've known you for some time, and you have always been an activist in the community. Me da mucho gusto que estás trabajando en la comunidad.
Thank
Todo
you
el
very
tiempo.
much. Yes.
Yeah. And your heart is in the community, and I can see all the stuff that you're doing, great things. Javier and Jesse have been around a long time, and I know you've been involved with Hope and other groups as well. So we're all familiar with those groups. And so all the work that you have done has been well noted.
Yes, thank you very much for telling me that. Estoy muy agradecida porque sí he participado en muchos grupos. Por ejemplo, cuando ECOR se cayó, ayudé a Top, a Rebuilding, y luego agarré Alianza Mexicana. Alianza Mexicana es una organización sin fines de lucro para los inmigrantes, and we're always fighting for the human rights, especially with the immigrant community and undocumented community.
Okay. ¿Eres de Houston?
No, yo soy mexicana, soy de Dolores Hidalgo, Guanajuato. Él es mi
qué bien, Omar.
paisano.
Sí.
Muy bien.
Guanajuato.
Él es
Está
mi
bien.
paisano.
¿Y usted dónde vive?
Yo vivo en Cortázar, Guanajuato.
Okay. ¿Tan lejos?
2 horas de camino hacia Dolores Hidalgo.
Muy bien, muy bien. ¿Y qué hace su grupo?
Ok, el grupo Proyecto México Migrante es un grupo que ayuda a los mexicanos a realizar y legislar y activar leyes con los diputados federales, con diputados del Congreso de la Unión para la protección del migrante que transita, tanto el que viene como el que se va.
¿Para el Congreso de los Estados Unidos o de México?
No, para el ingreso de los Estados Unidos
Okay.
y para los que deportan. Nosotros tenemos un instituto del migrante, en este caso el migrante tamaulipeco, que cuando los deportan de cualquier parte de esta área,
Cuando they deported from 287G.
Okay.
llegan a Nuevo Laredo. El Instituto del Migrante lo creó Pepe Carmona en el 2011, en la cual se dedicaba ellos a darles de comer, a darles los pasajes y a aventarlos a su lugar de origen para que ya no tuvieran la tentación de regresarse.
So we have a problem where we have immigrants that continue to cross the border. They get caught and they get sent back. Goes back and forth. So that's an issue that has been talked about for many, many years. Now, I'd be curious to see the reforms. Let's say, I'm not supporting Donald Trump, but let's just say Donald Trump were to win. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's say worst case scenario, Donald Trump was the president of the United States. Mm-hmm. Okay, Trump quiere poner una cerca, ¿verdad?
Y deportar a todos.
Okay, ¿qué vamos a hacer para decir a nuestra gente, ¿por qué no podemos votar por Trump? ¿Qué va a hacer Trump?
Obviamente va a hacer una deportación masiva en la cual está discriminando a los mexicanos. Los mexicanos somos gente trabajadora, gente que venimos a darles de comer a nuestros hijos que se quedan en México, porque no hay oportunidad en México en un sistema monetario, y aquí el dólar está más o menos a 15 pesos por peso mexicano. Entonces, el mexicano tiene que venir a buscar el sustento de la comida, y si Donald Trump llegase a ganar, va a perjudicar mucho el sistema de economía mexicana.
I'll tell you what, if Donald Trump wins, we're all in trouble. Every one of us. It doesn't matter if you're immigrant or not immigrant.
Exactly, everybody.
You know what, Ben, and what really scares me if and I hate to think of Donald Trump actually winning this election, but if he's going to do what he says he wants to do, you are talking, and I might get in trouble for saying this, but you're talking about something on the scale of Nazi type deportations. You know, short of that, is he wouldn't be able to do it. I mean, how do you deport 12 million?
Well, they say 12 million. There's probably more.
It's more.
Yeah, ¿cuántos son?
It's more than 12 because, you know, everybody is born more, and everybody's crossing, more people.
So what are you going to use? Stormtroopers and cattle cars? I mean, let's get real.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, without there being just a massive human rights violation on his part, this can't happen.
Well, on this point, I just want to say something. Ese no es los mexicanos o los hispanos que se quieren venir para acá, especialmente hablando por los mexicanos. Tendríamos que cambiar también nuestro gobierno mexicano. Y nuestro gobierno mexicano está de la mano con el de Estados Unidos. ¿Ok? Los dos están de la mano. Entonces, para que la gente no se venga para acá, tiene que cambiar el gobierno mexicano. Cómo Estados Unidos tiene que parar de estar apoyándolo, parar de estarle comprando drogas, parar de estarle comprando todo lo que le compra a México para que podamos. Pero no les conviene, ni le conviene ni a Estados Unidos ni a México. No les conviene separarse porque es un buen business.
That's true. Absolutely true.
The old mighty daughter.
Feria.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate, you know, the U.S. government makes all kinds of money off of Mexico, not to mention that all the drugs and everything that are purchased and all the firearms, I mean, we're connected whether we like it or not. So the worse that Mexico is, the worse that the U.S. is. So we got to figure out where we're working together. Tenemos que trabajar juntos.
Exactly.
El Congreso
I'm agree
tiene
with you.
que trabajar juntos.
Exactamente, el proyecto México Migrante, precisamente esa es su función. Tratar de enlazar los dos gobiernos, el americano y el mexicano, pero con nosotros, con los migrantes, que hay algunos que tenemos ya documentos, ¿sí? Y tenemos hijos con documentos, pero dejamos familia indocumentada en México que quieren venir a trabajar acá. Entonces el gobierno mexicano debe de crear impulsar programas de ayuda y empleos y traer inversión americana hacia México para que podamos crear empleos y ya no tengan la tentación de venir para acá.
Sí, pero cuando traigan una inversión americana a México, que les paguen lo justo, que no les paguen $1 al día, $1 a la semana o $5 a la semana, porque eso es lo que hacen las corporaciones americanas que se están yendo a instalar a México.
Sí, en Guanajuato tenemos 3 ejemplos. Honda, bueno, armadoras de carros, que a la semana les pagan 800 pesos.
¿Cuántos aquí dólares?
800 a la semana.
¿Cuántos son aquí?
¿Cuántos dólares?
Serían como $80
Por semana.
por semana.
So they work for
Exactly.
$80
That's what I say,
a
the big
week.
corporation.
Y aquí $80 se gana en un día.
So
Sí.
what they're paying for labor over there, I mean, that's cheap,
Yeah.
obviously. That's the reason why they put in the plants over there in Mexico,
Exactly.
the border towns and so forth.
Cheap hand.
Cheap labor,
Yes,
yeah.
cheap labor.
Yeah, so let's talk about, there's something very interesting in this discussion here. You know, if I am a U.S. citizen and I marry somebody from Mexico or from wherever, I can make that person a citizen because I'm getting married, right? But I cannot get my bloodline to come to the United States. I cannot bring my mom, my dad, or whoever it is in my bloodline that I want to bring. So the marriage status signifies more than actually bloodline.
Blood status.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I can have all these fake marriages. You get married, you get married, you get married, you get married, just to bring somebody over.
Well, that's how Pat got over here. That's how I got over here.
Your wife, that's how she got over. She married you.
That's why.
I got it.
That's why, but she cannot bring her family, right?
Yeah, but somehow she managed to do that. So I don't know.
Y
Oh.
ahora con el proyecto México Mexicano, ya en Estados Unidos lo establecimos ya en Houston, estamos estableciéndolo en todos los condados de Houston y también en todos los Estados Unidos de Norteamérica. Pero con esto hacemos una alianza con organizaciones, clubs, agrupaciones que apoyan a los migrantes, que quieren que los migrantes vivan bien dentro, si ya están dentro, que vivan bien aquí. Ahorita con la señora Martina Grifaldo de Alianza Mexicana, México Migrante se une, se alianza para la ayuda conjunta del impulso de la economía, de la protección y de la legislación de derechos de los migrantes, para protegerlos.
Ustedes tuvieron una cita el sábado.
Sí.
¿Con quién?
Tuvimos una asamblea nacional donde creamos nuevos presidentes del proyecto México Migrante en todos los condados de Houston, Texas, donde ya va a aparecer el proyecto México Migrante, donde ya el migrante puede acudir a las oficinas aquí en Houston para poder solicitar cualquier ayuda, cualquier orientación jurídica, legal y también para sus familias en México.
¿Y había elegidos de Houston ahí?
Hay elegidos de Houston, Dallas, Austin, McAllen, Fanfurrias, San Antonio.
¿Representante estatal o congresista?
Representantes estatales
Okay.
y representantes de condado. Porque está Kerry, está Harris, está Montgomery.
Fort Bend.
Sí, sí.
Pero
Y
no
hasta
hay
un
hispanos.
juez teníamos ahí, hasta un juez. Eran puros hispanos, todos eran hispanos.
¿Para Commissioner's Court?
No, estamos hablando de este proyecto.
No, pero los que fueron eran elegidos hispanos.
Eran elegidos
Hispanos.
Migrantes hispanos.
Ok, muy bien.
Había un juez norteamericano
Okay.
que fue a ver la magnitud de la unión migrante.
¿Y cómo se llamaba?
Oh, no recuerdo.
James.
¿Americano? Okay.
Pero hablaba un poco de español, entendía todo. Entonces, lo que yo ahorita escuchaba a ustedes en el segmento pasado, cómo hablan de la unión, pero sin embargo hay mucha unión y desunión. Y nosotros los latinos también estamos muy desunidos, porque tal vez ustedes tengan su grupo, yo tengo mi grupo, él tiene su grupo, pero ¿cuándo estamos todos los grupos juntos?
Cuando hay cerveza.
Bueno, pues
pura fiesta.
Y si no hay cerveza,
Cuando hay
nunca estamos
fiesta,
juntos.
estamos.
O sea,
Pues,
Es verdad.
En esta Asamblea Nacional del PMM logramos la unificación de varias organizaciones, líderes migrantes, legisladores y diputados mexicanos y parte de latinos norteamericanos también. Eso es un gran triunfo en Houston, Texas, porque se ve que ya el migrante se empieza a unificar, se empieza a hacer una alianza en la cual queremos protegernos entre nosotros de lo próximo que se tiende a venir como
Donald Trump.
con Donald Trump.
Y sabes que no hay ningún hispano que es congresista aquí en Houston. Ninguno.
Well, Houston es a Republican, sí.
Y es lo que
varios
nosotros
estados.
queremos, que algún día un hispano sea un congresista que realmente tenga el sentir del migrante y el sentir de decir, yo estoy en el Congreso, ¿sí? Yo voy a legislar para ellos, para los migrantes, no atacarlos, sino legislarlos y protegerlos. Esa es la intención del proyecto México Migrante.
Claro.
Can you put up that banner? ¿Lo pueden levantar?
levantarlo.
¿Qué dice?
Proyecto México Migrante. Mi delegación es Guanajuato, es en el estado
Guanajuato.
de Guanajuato, en México.
Qué bien.
Estamos.
¿Y usted tiene muchos años haciendo esto?
Yo tengo yo traigo niños con discapacidad desde el 2000.
Okay.
Aquí a los Estados Unidos promuevo lo que es las aplicaciones de algunos hospitales de aquí de Estados Unidos.
So he helps handicapped children get actually meetings at the hospital, visits at the hospital, and so he kind of bridges that gap so that they can get assistance. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
Great work, amazing work.
It is, and I really, really like to work with him because I prefer work with these kind of people on with another kind of people, you know. So soy muy feliz de trabajar con Omar porque me gusta trabajar porque él sí trabaja con el corazón. Y a mí me gusta la gente que trabaja con el corazón. Para terminar, nada más decirles a todos los inmigrantes que ya este mes próximo se les va a dar su credencial de elector para que desde aquí podamos también escoger nuestros presidentes en México. Entonces ya no vamos a tener problemas, ya desde aquí vamos a votar. A lo mejor desde aquí podemos escoger un buen presidente y ya luego nos vamos para México sin que Donald Trump nos aviente.
¿Cuándo son las elecciones en México?
Las elecciones en México, las próximas 2018.
Okay.
Pero se les va a dar la credencial de votar en el extranjero. Houston, Texas, es uno de los estados que se ha tenido más cuidado porque tenemos un auge muy grande de mexicanos y queremos dotar con esa identificación, por lo menos para que nuestros migrantes tengan con qué identificar.
Entonces, ¿yo puedo votar en el consulado general?
Si tiene la doble ciudadanía, sí.
Sí.
Okay.
Sí.
Y también, no menos importante, se va a estar renovando el día 6 de diciembre la licencia guanajuatense de manejo, también les sirve como identificación.
So they can vote for a Mexican president from here in Houston. I know Colombia does the same thing. They have, I don't know how they do it, but they have voting locations in the United States. They can actually vote for people in Colombia. So that's pretty much what he's talking about. So we got one more minute before we close shop. Is there anything you want to announce?
I just want to say on Alianza Mexicana, we will to start doing Know Your Rights. Know your rights, because the immigrants, they don't know the rights they have right here. And they have a lot of rights, either with the police, the immigration, with everybody. They have the same rights that you do. So we're going to teach this program. We're going to start on December the 4th. En el diciembre del 4 va a empezar a darle el programa de Conoce tus Derechos.
Está bien.
Gracias por invitarnos.
Gracias. Gracias.
¿Puedo decir algo último?
Sí.
Bueno, el proyecto México Migrante también ayuda a las familias mexicanas que tienen familiares desaparecidos. Nos organizamos para poder encontrarlos en cárceles, en forenses y cuando están enfermos en hospitales,
Muy bien.
en tránsito. Y también, obviamente, el trasladar en caso de que el cuerpo haya fallecido en los Estados Unidos y quieran llevarlo a México, nosotros les promovemos para empezar a que se lo lleven gratis.
Muy bien, Omar. Gracias.
Gracias.
Jesse, I know you have an event coming up.
Yes, it's going to be this Saturday. It was actually rescheduled from October 31st, so it's going to be the 14th of this Saturday of November. It's going to be at the Don Carlos Mexican restaurant. People know about it. It's right out in the street on 76th Street. And we want everybody to come out to what they call the Magnolia Block Party, the second annual. And it's going to have Nick Gaetan and the Umbrella Man. There's going to be the Danza Aztecas. They're going to be doing, that's what you hear, the more of the Azteca dancers. And then it'll be folklorico dancers, the Nelly Fraga, Ambassadores Internacional. And then also we're going to have Savannah Joy, which is kind of a Latin jazz artist. And then on, we're going to have a costume contest, as I mentioned, how to say how do you say contest? Concurso de disfraces.
We run out of time. We'll see you next week. Live television, 6 p.m.
Thank you.
Bye.